Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at Birmingham. This is your case study, so this is just a case of learning it. Okay, so Birmingham. Its site, it is in a dry point site. It's south-facing, sandstone and overlooking the River Ree. Its situation, it's in the centre of the Birmingham Plateau and it's in the middle of the UK, so it's got really good transport links with the rest of it, so with London and Scotland, so when it made its products in the past, it could transport them easily for trade. Birmingham is the second largest city in the UK and it's in the Midlands, and it has very high ethnic diversity at 43% of its population are not white. The structure of Birmingham follows a regular city structure. So in the centre you've got the CBD, where there is old commercial buildings and shopping centres. Then a little bit further out you have the inner city, which has a really high density terrace housing, which were built in the 1970s, particularly for factory workers. And there's a lot of housing in a small area. Then next, a bit further out, you've got the suburbs, which has a lower density of housing, and in it is just mainly housing, a few shops, and there's lots of green space. And then a bit further out, and to kind of each side of the city, there's the industrial zone, which is where all the old factories were. And on the outskirts, which is the rural-urban fringe, so where the city meets the country, there's airports, golf courses, some housing, and some business parks. So here is the movement of people in and out of Birmingham. So would people make up their minds? So firstly, in the 18th century, you've got urbanisation. The people go, woo, there's loads of opportunities in the city. They all move in for the manufacturing industry. Then there is suburbanisation, which happened in the 1920s and 30s, when people built nice houses in the suburbs. There was green space. It was very attractive. So they all moved out of the city again. Then they moved out even further and counter-urbanisation in 1970 when they realised actually they wanted to be further in the country. So they moved out, and also why they moved out was because a lot of the inner city houses were demolished and improved, which forced them to move out to the country. But then, all is well, they all come back again in re-urbanisation after 1990, when they want to make use of the amenities of the cities, and the government converted nice places, refurbishment, and it was worth coming in. This is national and international migration. So international is from other countries and national is from within the UK. So now we're going to look at the social, economic and environmental good things and bad things. So let's start with the good. So social good things is it's got loads of ethnic and cultural diversity, which makes it a really culture-rich city and brings opportunity for new food, new culture. So there's, for example of this, is the Balti Triangle, which has got famous foods and curry houses. And there is also 5 universities which cater for over 65,000 higher educated students. Now, economic good things. There's the Bullring Shopping Centre, which brings in over 140 jobs, which is employment and income for the local economy, which is awesome. And there is more shopping centres and improvements to build to make job opportunities. And environmental good things is they've got canals that have been cleared up and walkways have been made beside them. There's an East Side City Park which increased the green space, and there's a park and ride scheme to reduce traffic. Okay, now we're going to look at the not so good things. So the social and economic not so good things are the same. So there's been a lot of urban decline because of they used to have the large manufacturing industry. But now that's gone due to the competition abroad. There are many derelict buildings left. And because of this deprivation and there's the no manufacturing industry, there's been an increase in unemployment. There's also housing inequality, as the population is too big to create affordable housing for everyone. And the education, particularly poor areas such as Aston, they're very ethnically diverse and many students struggle to access and succeed in education. Also, not everyone is able to access healthcare, especially the non-English speaking people. There's also been, because of this closing of factories, I think I'll re-emphasise, there is lots of unemployment. Some environmental bad things now. There's a lot of derelict buildings because of the closed factories. They're building more on greenfield sites, which decreases the green space. However, there is projects on brownfield sites, which are really helping refurbish the city. There's also a lot of pollution because of its massive population, and this is mainly due to vehicles on the road. And there is lots of waste, and there's challenges on how to manage it. So now, quick look at deindustrialisation. So Birmingham has suffered from globalisation because the countries from abroad have taken away their trade. And then there's been decentralisation, where they've moved out of the middle of the city. There's also technological advances, meaning they're not as high as they were. And there was the ring road that was built around the city, which was great to help transport. However, it wasn't so good because many factories had to be closed and not all of them reopened. Okay, now you've got the most important bit of the video coming up, so listen in. So now we've got the 5 strategies that Birmingham are trying to do to improve all these problems. So the first thing they're doing is really improving recycling, because there's too much landfill in England and we need to recycle more. So the England average is 43.5% of our waste is recycled, and Birmingham last year was 30.1%. So while it's really good, they've still got some more work to do. There's green transport, which is more buses on the road and park and ride, and this is part of the cabled project, which is to reduce vehicles on the road. There's also loads of parks. Birmingham is the most green city in Europe. It's got 571 parks covering over 3,500 hectares. There's also a community centre that was built in Sparkbrook, which has doctors' surgeries, libraries and council services, which is really important to the community of Sparkbrook. And some just general improvements. They've reduced their carbon emissions by 12%. There's been over 1,000 new jobs created, and they're looking at creating more. They're trying to build new schools to improve the education of its children, and they're refurbishing and making nicer housing that is more affordable. So all in all, really good. And yeah, that's all you need to know. So thank you for watching.